Hello everyone, my name is Kush and welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm very excited to be doing this review today on the book Mahabharata. I think I said that or pronounced that correctly, but if not, I do apologize. Uh, One thing I should note is that this is a very important text in terms of Hindi culture. So I'm coming into this review as somebody from outside that context, someone who is more of a fiction reader, fantasy reader, sci fi, all of that. And this story drew me because of all of the battles and all that. I follow Philip Chase on YouTube, and I've actually had him on the channel a few times, and we've mentioned this book a couple times. And this just seemed like a very great sort of outside the norm of what I read. And this has about everything you could ever want from a story. The central storyline of this book or of this text, and I have the abridged version. This is actually unabridged, about 16 books this size, I believe. Is what I saw on Thrift Books. There's a whole box set you can get unabridged, and it's about $2,000, I believe. But the central storyline to this book is that you have two factions of cousins. You have the Pandavas and also the Kauravas. And they are battling it out between these two factions. And these are all 100 demons within human form, is what it says on the back. And it's all of these demons versus the sons of the gods, including Arjuna, you have Bhishma, you have... trying to do this off the top of my head, and it's not a good idea, because there's a ton of characters in this book. I think Arjuna is my favorite character in this book. He is arguably the main character of this book, because while this war is happening, you get a lot of sort of narrative deviations where you're getting religious instruction on the nature of Dharma and also what it means to just be a good person. And there's a lot of lessons within this book. I think if you're looking for a story that has a ton of themes and a ton of characters and a ton of religious instruction in terms of spirituality and also sort of how to act within the religion, this is definitely the story for you. It took me 6 months, 5 months maybe, 4 months at the lowest amount of time. It took me about 4 to 6 months for me to read this book. This has mostly to do with the fact that I didn't know, or I was getting too hung up on remembering every single character. So I actually switched to audiobook about halfway through this book because it was taking me too long. And it was when I started to listen to it on audiobook, and every now and then I would read along with this edition. But it was when I made that switch that this book became much more alive for me, because reading it straight, it reads like a textbook, I'll be honest. This is not the most engaging story to read in terms of physically reading. When you have the narrator, and I don't have her name, but I thought she was great. She didn't differentiate the character voices all that much, which I'm used to. Listening to like Wheel of Time audiobooks or Stormlight Archive or any other fantasy books that I've read on audiobook. But aside from that, I thought she was really wonderful. She got me to pronounce a lot of names correctly, like Yudhishthira and Bhishma. I thought it was Bhima for a while. Names like that. Duryodhana, for example, and I really enjoyed his character as well. I thought he was really interesting, fascinating, just a real bad guy. And I love my bad guys in my stories. But I really enjoyed the setup as well, because as you know, and as I said, this book is really focused, and along with the religious instruction, is really focused in on this war. And I want to say like half of the book is all set up to this war, and then the last, like the midway point all the way to the 75% point, is all the battle. It's really epic. Lots of deaths, over 1 million people dead, or 1 billion, I believe. It's one or the other. It's a really nasty battle. A lot of celestial weapons being used, which was one reason why I really enjoy the character of Arjuna, because early in the story he is tasked with uh, retrieving all of these really powerful heavenly weapons, and he's able to get them, and they are all very powerful. And I cannot wait to watch the TV show for this book, because this is one thing that I was recommended by two of my friends who are from this region of the world and who have read the Mahabharata and also watched the TV show. They recommended watching the show after reading the book. That way I have like a summarized view of what this book is, and then the show will fill in all the other details. And that's why I switched to audiobook, because I wanted to become a lot more familiar with the overarching story rather than keeping up with every single character. But yeah, I really enjoyed the beginning, and after he gets the celestial weapons, there's a section where they go to uh, Jarasamda. He's one of the kings in the story, and they have like a really fun chapter, and it ends with I think it's Arjuna, maybe Bhishma. They have like a wrestling contest, and he slams him down so hard on the ground that it splits the mountain in half, or at least they describe it as if a mountain was hewn in half, which I thought was awesome. I love the descriptions in the story when it comes to the action, because you can really feel the weight of all of the attacks, and the emotional weight as well of what is going on. But all of the setup I really enjoyed. I just wish I had done the audiobook from the beginning, because I think I could have really, really enjoyed the story a lot more had I been a little bit quicker. Because, as I said, it took 4 to 6 months for me to read this, and I forgot a lot. Thankfully, one of my friends who I talked with pretty regularly, he was able to remind me about some stuff, but there's just so much going on, and I'm very excited to watch the TV show now. That's one thing that I'm going to do after this, is watch the show, but I would like to hear from y'all how would a I guess review series go on that. Is it every episode? I don't want to do every episode. This is why I'm asking. I don't really know how to cover the TV show on my channel yet. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to do episode by episode, because that would be a lot of work that I don't want to do. I want to mostly enjoy it, but also have a little bit of that engagement going on, because I haven't really had anybody to talk to about this story outside of the two friends that I have been talking with. But what's your guys' idea? Like, what do you think I should do? What would you watch? Would you do like every 10 episodes? Maybe I should do a review. I don't know. Let me know. But the final 25% of this book, after the battle, which I've already described as epic, amazing, it's one of the best battles you will ever read. I was very engaged from beginning to end of it. I think I read that entire section, like 50% to 75%, in like a day or so, day or two. So it's very engaging. And then the last like 20% of the book is sort of settling all the dust and focusing on ascending our heroes. Because at the end of the story, we have Bhishma, who ascends to heaven. And we get this really great scene at the end. I don't think it's spoilers. This story has been around for thousands of years. so I don't think it's too big of an issue to talk about this event. But one of my favorite chapters of the ending is the final one, the Ascent to Heaven, I believe it's called. And that's the one where Bhishma ascends to heaven, as I said. But we get a sort of twist on the ending, or we get a twist at the ending, because Bhishma is being shown this hellish world where all his friends and family are down in hell with him. And he can hear everyone crying, he can hear, battles and swords and spears and arrows, being launched and fought with, and hearing, swords getting clashed together. He hears all these sounds and he's convinced that he's in hell. And then it's revealed that those who experience hell throughout their lives, they automatically ascend to heaven. And those who have gone through heaven through most of their lives, they're put through hell when they die for a certain amount of time until they finally are deemed worthy of ascending to heaven. I don't know if it's deemed worthy or if it's just a prerequisite. I don't know exactly the wording of that, but I really enjoyed that section. It was a nice ending to the story, because you sort of get all this death and mayhem throughout this battle. And then you kind of get this nice, ending where you feel really good for our characters, despite all of the loss that has gone on throughout the story. And there's a lot of loss. As I said, there's probably more than 1 million named characters in this story. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the first half the most, I believe. The battle was just incredible. And I love the ending as well, as I said, that if you go through hell, you go through heaven, or you go to heaven, and if you go through heaven, you go to hell. I thought that was a really interesting ending, and it was just amazing. But I don't really have anything else to talk about with this book, because there's just so much. But I would love to do a discussion one day with someone, maybe who has a lot more, I guess, ties to this book, is the best way I can think of it. I would love to talk with somebody who knows the story a lot more, and someone who I can do a hour-long discussion with for this channel. I don't know if I can find anyone for that, but if I do, I would love to do that. And let me know what you think about the TV show coverage, because I do want to cover it, but I don't want to do it by episode. And if I do every 5 episodes, because there's over 100 episodes, that's a lot of episodes, or a lot of videos on my part. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do a live stream every 10 episodes or something. I'll post something, but I'm having hiccups. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching. I apologize if I didn't go as in-depth as I could have. There's just so much. And I just wanted to get a bare bones kind of reaction to this book, because I don't think I'm never going to read this again. This is going to be something I revisit, I think, every year. It definitely seems that kind of story, because there's just so much in here that I took away from that I have already forgotten. So, yeah. This was pretty life-changing, I think. This was really, really good. My rating, if I had to give one, would be it's 4 out of 5. In terms of emotional, I gave it a 5 out of 5, right when I finished it, but I think this is a 4 out of 5 for me, because there is a lot of religious instruction in here, and I'm not that religious, and I came in to this book as an appreciator of culture, and as someone who wanted to see where some modern audiences or authors are being inspired by. Steven Erikson has talked about this story a lot in interviews, and maybe I should talk to him about it. That would be really fun, I think. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the day.